Abigail. Wisdom in the wilderness. The hot sun beats down on the dry Judean hills. David rides at the front of 400 armed men. Their swords shine as they march quickly down the rocky path, dust swirling around their feet. David's face is hard with anger. His voice cuts through the air. By morning, not a single man in Nabal's house will live. The men tighten their grip on their weapons. They are ready to fight. The sound of their steps echoes like thunder through the valley. Then suddenly, ahead on the narrow path, a woman on a donkey appears. She is not afraid. Her long blue robe moves with the wind, and behind her, servants carry baskets filled with bread, wine, grain, and figs. Her eyes are fixed on David. She pushes the donkey forward with quiet courage. This is Abigail, and she is about to stand between a furious army and certain death. What do you think will happen when Abigail faces David and his angry men? Tell us in the comments where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe. Tomorrow, we're bringing you another powerful story you won't want to miss. Your support helps us share more life-changing stories. The dry hills of Maon stretch wide under the hot Judean sun. In this wilderness, David and his band of 600 men move like unseen guardians. They are fugitives, hiding from King Saul, but they are not thieves. They live honorably, protecting shepherds and their flocks from raiders. 4 months, they have stayed near the fields of a wealthy man named Nabal, ensuring no harm comes to his workers or animals. Not a single sheep has been lost while David's men were around. It is the season of sheep shearing, a time of joy and abundance. In those days, sheep shearing is more than work. It is like a festival. There is music, laughter, and plenty of food. It is also a time when generosity is expected. Those who have been blessed are expected to share, especially with those who have helped them. Nabal is a man who has been blessed with great wealth. He owns 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. His house is busy as servants prepare for the feast. Sheep are being sheared, fires are lit, and food is being cooked in large amounts. Nabal should be a man of honor and gratitude, but his name tells another story. Nabal means fool, and sadly, his character matches his name. He is harsh in his dealings and arrogant in his heart. He looks down on others and listens to no one. People in the region know his temper and his pride. His wealth has not made him wise. It has only made him stubborn and rude. David hears that Nabal is holding a sheep shearing feast. He sees this as the perfect time to request a share of the celebration. After all, his men have protected Nabal's flocks for a long time without ever asking for payment. According to the customs of the land, it is fair to receive something in return. David chooses 10 young men and gives them clear instructions. They are to approach Nabal respectfully, speak words of peace, and remind him of the kindness he has received. They are to request any provisions Nabal is willing to offer. Their message is polite, almost ceremonial. They arrive at Nabal's house, greet him, and deliver David's words. Peace be to you, peace to your house, and peace to all that you have. We have been with your shepherds in the fields, and nothing was ever taken from them. Ask your men, and they will tell you. Therefore, let us find favor in your eyes, for we come at a time of plenty. Please give whatever you can to your servants and to your son David. Their tone is humble. Their message is clear. But Nabal's response is not what anyone expects. He laughs with scorn. His face tightens with pride. He speaks loudly, so that everyone around can hear. Who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? He mocks. There are many servants these days who break away from their masters. Why should I take my bread, my water, and the meat I have prepared for my shearers, and give it to men who come from I don't know where. This is more than a refusal. It is a public insult. He questions David's identity and paints him as a runaway servant. He refuses hospitality, shows no gratitude, and dishonors the protection David has provided. His arrogance cuts deeply. The young messengers return to David and repeat Nabal's words exactly. As they speak, David's expression changes. The peaceful shepherd warrior becomes the battle-hardened fighter once more. His anger rises like a storm. This is not just about food. This is about honor. David wastes no time. Each of you, strap on your sword, he commands. The sound of steel echoes as 400 men arm themselves for battle. David leads them with a fierce oath. May God deal with me, be it ever so severely, if by morning I leave alive one male of all who belong to him. The decision is made. David is not going to negotiate. He is going to destroy Nabal's household completely. His patience has run out. As the army begins its march toward Nabal's estate, dust rises behind their feet. The sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the land. Their faces are set with determination. But inside Nabal's house, not everyone is blind to the danger. Among his servants, there are those who have seen David's kindness firsthand. They know what their master has done. They understand the seriousness of the insult and the fury it has awakened. Whispers spread quickly through the house. Fear begins to grow. They know David's reputation as a warrior. They have heard how he defeated Goliath. They know his men are loyal and strong. One servant, more alert than the rest, realizes that time is running out. If someone does not act fast, everyone in the household will die before sunrise. He decides to speak, not to Nabal, because he knows Nabal will not listen, but to someone wiser. Someone who might actually do something to save them all. That someone is Abigail. Inside Nabal's household, one person stands out. Abigail. She is Nabal's wife, but she is nothing like him. People speak of her quietly, with respect. She is intelligent, calm, and discerning. Her beauty is striking, but her wisdom is what truly makes her stand apart. While Nabal is arrogant and harsh, Abigail is thoughtful and quick to act. She often manages difficult situations in silence, working behind the scenes to keep peace in a house ruled by a fool. As whispers spread among the servants, one trusted servant moves quickly to find her. His face is filled with worry. When he reaches Abigail, he doesn't waste time. He tells her everything that has happened. He explains how David's men treated the shepherds kindly in the fields. How they were like a wall of protection day and night. How nothing was stolen, no harm came to the flocks. Then he tells her about Nabal's rude reply, the insults, the public disrespect, and the danger they are all now facing because of it. His voice lowers. Evil is determined against our master and against all his household, he warns. David and his men will not forgive this. Nabal is such a worthless man that no one can speak to him. In that moment, Abigail understands the full weight of the situation. She knows David's reputation. She knows his men are skilled fighters. She knows Nabal's temper, and she knows he will never apologize or act wisely. There is no time to argue or wait. Lives are at stake. Abigail takes charge without hesitation. She does not tell her husband what she is about to do, because she knows he will only stop her. She moves quickly through the house, giving sharp, clear instructions to the servants. Her calm leadership cuts through the fear. She orders them to gather provisions, large amounts, and fast. Servants rush to bring out 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 sheep already dressed, 5 seahs of roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs. These are not small gifts. They are enough to feed a small army. Abigail knows that to calm David's fury, she must offer something generous and sincere. As the servants pack the food onto donkeys, the household begins to buzz with nervous energy. Everyone understands the risk she is taking. She is riding out alone to face an armed and furious David. If she fails, it could mean death. But Abigail is not acting out of fear. She is acting out of wisdom and courage. When everything is ready, she tells the servants to go ahead of her with the donkeys carrying the provisions. She follows behind on her own donkey, determined to meet David before he reaches Nabal's house. The path she takes winds through rocky valleys and dusty roads. The night is growing darker, but her resolve does not shake. As she rides, the weight of her mission settles in. She is not a warrior. She has no weapons, no army. All she has are her words, her wisdom, and the offering she carries. She knows she must reach David before his anger leads to bloodshed. Once swords are drawn, it will be too late. The air is tense. Somewhere ahead, David's army is moving fast. She can almost feel the ground trembling with their march. She urges her donkey forward, determined not to turn back. Abigail's plan is clear. She must meet David face to face, appeal to his sense of justice, and remind him of the man God has chosen him to be. She must make him stop before he reaches Nabal's gate. This is a moment that will decide the fate of many lives. Her courage is quiet but powerful. She is stepping into the path of an angry army, not with a sword, but with wisdom. Her servants ride ahead into the darkness with the loaded donkeys. Abigail follows closely, her robe flowing behind her. Her mind is sharp, her heart steady. She knows the kind of man she is about to face. Furious, insulted, and ready to strike. She also knows that if she chooses her words carefully, she might save everyone. The valley grows narrower as she approaches the place where David and his men are expected to pass. The sound of marching feet grows louder. Abigail straightens her back. This is the moment she has prepared for. She whispers a quick prayer under her breath. Then, as torches flicker in the distance, she sees them, David at the front, his men following with grim determination. The air feels heavy. The tension is real. Abigail grips the donkey's reins and rides forward into their path. There is no turning back now. The torches flicker against the dark sky as David and his armed men march down the valley. Their steps are strong and focused. The anger in the air is almost heavy enough to touch. David's mind is set on one thing: punishing Nabal. But suddenly, the march slows. Up ahead, a single donkey appears on the narrow path. Riding it is a woman, dressed in deep blue. Behind her, servants lead donkeys loaded with baskets of food. David's men raise their weapons, uncertain of what is happening. Abigail quickly dismounts. She steps forward, bows low, and falls on her face before David. Her action surprises everyone. She shows no fear, only deep humility and courage. There, on the dusty road under the night sky, Abigail begins to speak. Her voice is calm and clear. "My lord, the blame is mine alone," she says. "Please, let your servant speak to you. Hear the words I have to say." Her first words catch David off guard. She takes the blame upon herself, even though she did nothing wrong. This immediately lowers the tension. She is not arguing. She is not defending Nabal. She is standing before a furious warrior and absorbing the weight of the offense to create space for peace. She continues, carefully choosing each word. Please, do not pay attention to this worthless man Nabal. His name means fool, and folly goes with him. But I, your servant, did not see the young men you sent. By openly calling Nabal a fool, Abigail removes any need for David to explain why he is angry. She acknowledges Nabal's insult honestly. She also distances herself from his actions, making it clear she is not part of his foolishness. David listens. His grip on his sword eases slightly. Then she shifts her focus. She lifts David's eyes from the insult to something higher. As surely as the Lord lives, and as you live, the Lord has kept you from bloodshed and from avenging yourself with your own hands. May your enemies and all who intend to harm you be like Nabal. Her words are powerful. She does not speak as if this meeting is an accident. She presents it as God's divine intervention. She tells David that it is the Lord himself who stopped him on this path of vengeance. By doing this, she reminds him of his true calling. David is not just any man. He is chosen by God. She speaks to his conscience and his destiny. Then she gestures to the gifts her servants brought. Please accept these gifts that your servant has brought to my Lord, for the men who follow you. The donkeys are unpacked, revealing bread, roasted grain, meat, raisins, and figs. It is a rich offering, not given with pride, but with humility and respect. Next, Abigail looks directly at David and delivers the most important part of her speech. The Lord will certainly make a lasting dynasty for you, because you fight the Lord's battles, and no wrongdoing will be found in you as long as you live. Even though someone is pursuing you to take your life, the life of my Lord will be bound securely in the bundle of the living by the Lord your God. But the lives of your enemies he will hurl away as from the pocket of a sling. Her words are careful and prophetic. She reminds David of the promises God has made to him. She paints a picture of his future as king, secure in God's hands. She even uses language that recalls his famous victory over Goliath. The sling. She speaks not only to his anger but to his faith, his calling, and his future. Finally, she delivers a personal and wise warning. When the Lord has fulfilled for my Lord every good thing he promised and has appointed you ruler over Israel, you will not have on your conscience the staggering burden of needless bloodshed or of having avenged yourself. And when the Lord your God has brought you success, remember your servant. This is the turning point. She warns him with wisdom and love. She tells him plainly that if he kills Nabal's household in anger, it will leave a stain on his heart and his future reign. She reminds him that kings must think ahead, not just in the heat of the moment. She offers him a way to act in a manner worthy of his calling. David stands silent as she finishes. His men watch, waiting for his reaction. Slowly, the anger on his face softens. His eyes shift from vengeance to gratitude. He raises his voice and blesses her. Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me, David says. May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed and from avenging myself with my own hands. Otherwise, as surely as the Lord lives, if you had not come quickly to meet me, not one male belonging to Nabal would have been left alive by morning. David accepts her gifts. He acknowledges her wisdom publicly in front of his men. He blesses her for intervening and recognizes that her actions saved him from committing a serious sin. In that moment, David sees Abigail not as an enemy, but as God's messenger. His fury is gone. His heart is humbled. He turns back from his mission of vengeance. The lives of Nabal's household are spared, and David walks away with his dignity and future intact. As the torches disappear into the night and David's army withdraws, Abigail stands in the valley with a quiet sense of relief. She has done what few would dare to do. She faced an angry army alone and changed the course of events through wisdom, humility, and courage. But the story is not over yet. Justice is still waiting for Nabal. Dawn breaks quietly over the hills of Carmel. A golden light spills across Nabal's estate, touching the stone walls and the trees with a gentle glow. Inside the house, however, the scene is far from peaceful. Music, laughter, and the sound of clinking cups echo through the halls. Nabal is holding a feast fit for a king. He sits at the head of a long table, surrounded by friends and servants, drunk and completely unaware of the disaster that almost struck during the night. His heart is merry, his tongue is loose. He boasts loudly about his wealth and power, unaware that his arrogance nearly cost him everything. Abigail quietly returns home after her tense encounter with David. She watches the chaotic celebration from the doorway. She says nothing. She knows that trying to speak to him in his drunken state would be useless. Wisdom tells her to wait. So she slips away silently, choosing her moment carefully. The next morning, the house is quiet. The feast is over. Nabal wakes up with a heavy head and no idea what has taken place. Abigail approaches him calmly. Her voice is steady, not angry or emotional. She recounts everything that happened: the insult to David's messengers, David's furious response, his vow to destroy every male in the household, her quick intervention, and how close they all came to death. As her words sink in, Nabal's expression changes. The color drains from his face. His body stiffens. The laughter and pride that filled him the night before vanish in an instant. The Bible says that his heart failed him, and he became like stone. Some believe he suffered a stroke. Others describe it as a sudden, paralyzing shock. Whatever it was, the man who was so arrogant and ungrateful is now silent and helpless. 10 days pass. During that time, Nabal never recovers. Then the Lord strikes him, and he dies. The judgment comes not from David's sword, but from God himself. What David had sworn to do in anger, God handles in his own way and time. When David hears the news of Nabal's death, he lifts his voice in praise. Praise be to the Lord, who has upheld my cause against Nabal for treating me with contempt. He has kept his servant from doing wrong and has brought Nabal's wrongdoing down on his own head. David recognizes the hand of God clearly. He sees that Abigail's intervention not only prevented bloodshed but allowed God's justice to unfold perfectly. David's reputation remains untarnished. His conscience is clean. He is reminded that vengeance belongs to the Lord alone. But that's not the end of Abigail's story. David remembers her courage, her wisdom, her grace. He sends his servants to Carmel with a message. They arrive at Abigail's house and deliver David's words. He wishes to take her as his wife. When Abigail hears this, she bows down with deep humility. She responds, "Here is your maidservant, ready to serve and wash the feet of my Lord's servants." It is a statement of both respect and readiness. She is not swept away by pride or ambition. She responds with the same humility she showed on that dark night in the valley. She quickly prepares herself, mounts her donkey, and rides with David's messengers. She leaves behind the house of a fool and steps into a new destiny, as the wife of the future king of Israel. Abigail's story does not end with mere survival. It ends with honor. She moves from being married to a harsh and foolish man to becoming the beloved wife of a man after God's own heart. Her wisdom and courage changed the trajectory of her life and the lives of many others. Her legacy shines brightly for several reasons. First, She displayed wisdom and courage in the face of danger. While others in Nabal's household were frozen in fear, Abigail acted decisively. She didn't wait for instructions. She didn't panic. She thought clearly, moved swiftly, and did what was necessary to prevent disaster. Second, her diplomacy was extraordinary. Her speech to David remains one of the most skillful and heartfelt appeals in the Bible. She understood how to speak to an angry man without provoking him further. She balanced honesty with humility, boldness with respect, and faith with practical wisdom. Her words didn't just calm David, they lifted his heart back toward God's purposes. Third, Abigail had deep theological insight. She wasn't simply being polite. She spoke with spiritual authority. She reminded David of his divine calling, spoke prophetically about his future, and urged him to avoid staining his conscience. She understood God's ways and spoke them with clarity and grace. Finally, her legacy continues to inspire. Abigail stands out as a woman who combined beauty with intelligence, grace with strength, and humility with courage. She wasn't a warrior with a sword, but she won a battle that night, a battle against pride, anger, and impending bloodshed. Her intervention saved lives and helped keep David on the path toward becoming the kind of king God intended him to be. For David, Abigail's presence would become a reminder of God's timely interventions and the power of wise counsel. She was more than a bride. She was a gift sent to steady his heart in a turbulent season of his life. As we look back on this story, one thing becomes clear. Abigail was not famous because of grand miracles or public victories. She was remembered because she acted wisely and bravely at the right moment. She stepped into a dangerous situation and changed its outcome, not by force, but by faith and understanding. Her story echoes through generations as a powerful example for anyone facing conflict, injustice, or crisis. It shows that one person's courage and discernment can turn away disaster, restore peace, and even redirect destinies. And so the chapter closes, not with bloodshed, but with justice, honor, and a legacy that still speaks today. What part of Abigail's story inspired you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue sharing these powerful Bible stories that transform lives.